Hello my scrappy friends and a big welcome to my YouTube channel today. It's Melinda Sweetman here with you and thank you so much for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me today. Today's share is for Tracy Reed Designs and it is featuring this layout that I have created. It is a 12 by 12 layout and I love how this turned out. I was inspired by a card I saw created recently with painted stripes in the background. I think whoever I saw use it used a stencil. I have a stamp set, so that's what I'm working with, and I'm working with these 10 Pink Fresh Studio ink pads. I did kind of lay out the design of, not so much the design, but the idea that I had in my mind. So that's how I came up with my 10 colours. I did match all of them except for 2 to the collection. The extra 2 that I added in, I was at 8 and I was like, I need 2 more colours to fill this rainbow in, so I grabbed 2 that were in between other colours on this rainbow. I will link everything. I'll leave a list in the description box below if there's any colours that you want to know. So you can see here I've got this is textured white cardstock, and I have used a pencil, very lightly traced the 2/3 mark across and the 1/3 mark down, so 8 inches across from the top left hand side and 4 inches down from the top of the page. And then I have got my photo strip, which you saw was actually a waterfall photo strip, and I have used my T-square ruler and traced around that as well so that I knew where I needed to stamp. I knew that these stamps weren't quite long enough to go right the way across, so you can see what I'm doing here to make it work. I chose textured cardstock because I love the way that the texture shows through the ink pad, through the stamping. If you don't love that look, use smooth cardstock. Now the reason that, so I got to doing this particular technique on this page because in this collection, which is the Keep Chasing Rainbows, it's one of my all-time favourites from Tracy Reed, which you would know if you've been around for a little while. There is in their digital embellishment kit, a painted mixed media rainbow that I loved, but I just couldn't make it work for this page, not with the photos that I knew I was using. So I was like, how can I use this as inspiration? And this is what I came up with after my brain was jogged by remembering the card I'd seen made. I'm actually using my Tim Holtz stamp platform here. I love this for this particular reason. As you can see, I am stamping straight onto my 12 by 12 background. I have had to turn it, but it's not a big deal at all. But it does allow me to stamp pretty much anywhere on that 12 by 12 background, unlike the Misty, which has obviously the corners and stuff, and I didn't really want to invest in the memory, keeping memory, Misty I think is what it's called. So yeah, I'm using my Tim Holtz stamp platform here, which is fantastic for things like this. I do love it. So I'm just going through that rainbow of colours, finishing off with my purple. Yes, I'm using purple. I was surprised at how the colours settled into the page after I came back the next day. So I did do this of an evening and then I left it to completely dry overnight. I didn't want to risk smudging any of the colours because that's just the way that my luck goes. I knew I had to rub out my pencil lines, so that's why I left it overnight before I did anything else. Just lining that up, and I'm so happy with how that turned out. In the photos, you'll notice that top pink is really, like, it's pretty much faded out. You can't see it, but that's okay, it's there. Black splatters, and I knew that my title was going to go somewhere to the left-hand side around the blue-green area. So I've kind of had the black splatters come out a bit further that way. And now I'm just going to attach my waterfall using my T-square ruler. I want to make sure this is nice and straight. I do have another video. I'll link it up in the top corner on how I made a photo strip. It's not this a waterfall strip. It's not exactly this one, but it's very similar. Same steps. And I'm just sticking down the band that goes around the middle there. For my title, I'm doing lots of stamping on this layout, which was super fun. I do love stamping, and that's what actually first got me into any kind of memory keeping or card making to start with. There you go, fun history fact. So I knew I wanted to stamp my title. I'm using the word shine from the stickers from this collection, and I am building the rest of my title with stamping. So the title's going to read, "You are my sunshine." I'm stamping it in black, and then I'm going to heat emboss with clear embossing powder. Again, more so that I don't smudge anything than any other reason whatsoever. I was just testing that I wasn't smushing too hard. That first one I felt like I smushed a bit too hard and the letters are a bit misshapen. So here I go, just embossing this. Now I do stamp a second title. I wasn't sure which one I was going to use, so you do see me kind of working with both of them, but as you would have seen in the beginning there was only one that I used. I've just popped these pieces back into the stamp set that I used. I did use some LA Studio title builder stamp sets to build my title for this one. And like I said, I really love how this page came together in the end. In fact, I was so inspired while I was creating this that I created a card as well. And you will see a photo of that right at the end, so make sure you hang around for that. This was super fun and surprisingly easy to put together. I really love how it turned out. I'm just going to fussy cut around my word sun here. Obviously, if you wanted to do something similar, you don't have to fussy cut around it. Another really helpful tip for fussy cutting is to sketch a pencil line around whatever you're fussy cutting, so that you can kind of get an even-ish border all the way around, if you're not, especially if you're not particularly confident or you feel like it's a bit more intricate than what you maybe normally cut. And I found that can be really helpful. Here is the sticker that I'm going to use for my title. You can see it is actually a sticker, but it is super, super sticky. So I've got, this is my refill for my powder tool there. I'm just dipping my finger in and getting a little bit of that powder and rubbing that onto the back. You can see I've done the other word there as well, magical, which is one that I don't end up using. But you can see I'm just building my title here. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You make sunshine. That's not right. Right, you are my sunshine. So if you haven't worked out yet, the photos that I'm scrapbooking today, there's 6 of them. They are screenshots from my phone. I was at my nephew's birthday party, and I turned around at one point and my eldest son had this grin on his face and this evil little chuckle happening. I'm like, what are you up to? Sure enough, he spills the beans. He's like, Auntie Rhiannon told me to, Auntie Rhiannon told me to. That's my little sister. And so I go to unlock my phone and I'm looking at my phone, checking the photos, and I'm like, whoa, when did I take all these selfies? And then I realized, nope, this is not actually me. This is my son, and this is what he was laughing and giggling about. Like literally there is 6 screenshots of his face taking selfies. He got snap happy, and it was hilarious when I looked at it. I really did go, when did I take so many selfies? What was I thinking? And like, what on earth was I doing? And then I was like, that's not even me. But he was rather proud of himself. He's like, it's not my fault. My auntie told me to do it. I was like, oh my goodness, you two together. So yeah, it was just hilarious. And you can see it there. So there you go. So I am just I keep checking to make sure that this mechanism is moving correctly. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get to a point at the end of the layout where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not moving, and have no idea what I did. So I do keep checking it whenever I put anything near that moving element, and I'm happy to report that I don't stop it from moving at any point, and it does move smoothly. I love it. Right, so some embellishing. I really surprised myself. I added a few bits and pieces, and then I was like, I don't think I want to add anything else. But I did try a few more things, and no. So I added that rainbow, which is super cute. And because I had color matched all of my all of my inks, these hearts that I'm going to put on are the exact right color. All my inks are the exact right color for these hearts. I was so impressed. So you can see I'm just putting a little pop dot on the back of them, and I am lining them up with their colours. Look at how well those colours are matching. I'm so impressed. So yes, Pink Fresh Studio inks are a wonderful match to these colours that I've used. I'm pretty sure that top pick one is Ballet Slipper. But yeah, this part I was like, oh my gosh, this rainbow works perfectly. I'm so impressed. Even with like the extra colours that I added in, you can't go, yep, that's the extra colour, which I think is really cool. Alright, so I'm just adding little pop dots to all of these hearts and putting them in where I think I want them. You can see I've got that light blue one overlapping. Again, once I do stick that down, before I stick it down, I make sure that where I'm going to stick it is still going to allow that waterfall to move. So here you can see with the yellow, I'm like, is that still moving? Yep, lift up all the bits and make sure that I stick it in the right place so that everything can continue to move. That's all the heart's done. And then I was like, I think I want a little bit extra. So I found these little tiny flowers. They're actually, most of them are in groups of 3 joined together. I've just trimmed them out, and I'm going to add one pink one, one yellow one, and then I find one little blue one. Which I do muck around with for a little bit. I wasn't quite sure where I wanted to put it. I kind of felt like I needed to add a little bit of extra dark blue, which I do end up getting in just a minute. I'll just stick this flower down. I do get there eventually. If I'm not mistaken, that's like the first place that I put it anyway. And here I come with the blue one. I was trying to stick a bigger blue one down and I just couldn't get it right. But this little blue one works perfectly. And you can see all of my bits still move. The only thing that I need to be really careful of is that light pink heart right at the top. Once this folds all the way, once it is all the way open, those photos at the top can get caught underneath it because it's on a pop dot. I just need to kind of unhook them from behind that, but otherwise it works perfectly. I'm so happy with it. I'm just gluing that bottom photo down to that mechanism. Again, I'm only sticking to that band that I have wrapped around so that it can move. And then my final touch, actually there's 2 more things I do. So I'm going to add in some of these little clear, what's it do things? I've forgotten their name. Crystal thingies. I'm going to add 3 lots of 3, I think. Yes, so 3 lots of 3. One here by the title, well, by the rainbow, I guess. One over to where the green and yellow meet. Just a little triangle, and then one right up to the top where the pink is. And then the last thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a close-up, and then I'm like, I think I need a little bit of black to balance the title. I don't have the date on here, so I'm going to so first I'm going to show you this. I love how this turned out. For me, this is a minimalist layout. What do you think? I love the look of them. I feel like I can never achieve them, but I feel like I did this time. I'm really impressed with myself. Just showing you where I'm going to add my journaling in. Here's my date stamp. This is from a couple of years ago. I was just waiting for the right opportunity to scribble these photos because I had printed them all as these screenshots. So there you go. Coming up next, you will see the bonus card that I created. This was super fun to create. I love it. And the close-ups of my layout. It is oldies but goodies with Tracy Redesigns, and I believe this collection is on sale at the moment, so make sure you pop over. I'll make sure I link everything in the description box below. As always, thank you so much for choosing to spend your scrappy time with me. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a fantastic scrappy day, my friends. I'll see you next time.